A Galician dish through and through, and the portion is definitely Galician sized. Wow, this is a lot. Seriously, they've really gone overboard here. I'll just put it like this. Hi, how are you? You're on Cesar Blues channel, and today I'm going to try the oldest Galician restaurant in Madrid. No less than in the year 1915, the Vidal brothers came from Pontevedra to Madrid with the intention of opening a restaurant in the image and likeness of the Galician restaurants they liked so much. And boy, did they do it here. Also, on Bordador Street, next to Puerta del Sol, is a pretty famous restaurant where they have meat, fish, seafood. They even have Elvers. Let's see if maybe I'll feel like ordering them. Anyway, they have what they call Galicia quality, and I hope they also have quantity. I'm so hungry it hurts, so I'm going inside to see what's cooking. I'm here in the restaurant. It's beautiful with everything done the old-fashioned way. It feels like time hasn't moved here in years. I hope the same goes for the food. I'm gonna see what they have to eat here at Casa Gallega. 2 menus then, one for the wines and another for the food. I'm going straight to the food menu and let's see what they have to eat. Well, 2 pages, simple menu. It begins with shared dishes, Galician empanada and Galician style octopus, naturally featuring classic Galician cuisine. They also have potato salad with northern bonito, anchovies in vinegar, scarlet prawn or Iberian ham croquettes, baby squid, calamari, pig's ear, Galician style tripe, acorn fed ham and aged sheep cheese. To finish, from the sea they have a lot of products: oysters, small scallops, prawns, razor clams, Norway lobsters, scarlet prawns, lobsters, spider crab, even baby eels. Watch out. From the 135 euros, at 135 euros, I guess that's for the portion, right? They have some salads, but you see, I'll leave those for the second visit. Next are the soups. The most famous in Galicia is the Galician broth, along with the seafood soup. They have some fish, hake prepared in different ways: cod, sea bass, sole or monkfish. They offer escalope, lacon with turnip greens and chorizo, beef tenderloin and Galician beef loin. By weight, a few rice dishes. And it finishes with the homemade desserts, well, with the filos filled with cream or whipped cream, or the tarta de Santiago, one of the top Galician desserts. A menu ready to be judged. And now let the feast begin. So we start with the appetizer, courtesy of the house, in this case tortilla. Can you already see 2 good slabs of tortilla? A big meal is coming. Also, I obviously ordered some wine. Well, I went for a Galician wine. In this case, this wine really caught my attention because it's an organistrum, and it really caught my attention because it's fermented at sea. Barrel-aged Albarino from Martin Kovac Winery. From the year 2022, Arias Baichas with denomination of origin with which I start today's meal. Oh, this is so good, this is so good. Anyway, the waiter, who's very friendly, insisted that it's a lot of food. Let's see how it is, but I wanted to try several things. It's set around the edges, but juicy in the center. But it's so good. Doesn't it have onion? He also brought the bread. Look, this one. It bothers me. There's no good homemade Galician bread here, but oh well. Anyway, it's not that I think this is bad bread, but I prefer a sourdough bread with a good loaf. It's just the appetizer. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, but these aren't really free. They're included in the price. Finishing the appetizer. Now let's start with what I've ordered. A video in a Galician restaurant must feature Galician stew, turnip, greens, potatoes, sometimes chorizo, pork fat, and beans. It's the quintessential Galician dish. As a starter, it's typically served in a clay bowl, though here it's in more modern tableware. You can see the chorizo, turnip greens, and lots of steam. Nice and hot. Anyway, let's dig in and see how it is. Oh, they're so good. The potato is really well blended into the stew, really well blended. It gives it a certain thickness. Well, I mean to the stew, or rather to the soup here. This dish is between a stew and a soup as it has many chunks, including pork shoulder and chorizo. Oh, what a delicious flavor it has. My goodness, every spoonful has a bit of everything. It has its pork shoulder, its chorizo. I'll say, this Galician broth is pricey, huh? Others I've tried didn't have as much chorizo or pork shoulder, but still, 10 chiboritos. This is the full portion. I'm saying this because I've ordered so many things that the waiter very kindly told me he could give me half portions of some of the things I ordered. So you can't really tell that it's a very greasy dish, right? I'll also tell you once again that I don't do collaborations with restaurants. I don't let them know I'm going to record a video, and I don't accept invitations in exchange for recording a video, and much less money. I mention this because often you try to order half portions and they won't let you. It's just that I'm here, alone at the table. And while sometimes when you go alone, they take that into consideration and say, hey, you've ordered a lot of dishes. We'll give you a half portion. Some places won't if you have more people, but that's their policy. Anyway, I don't have any. No, I have no agreement with them and don't know them. They actually approached me and asked what I was going to record and where it would be shown. Will people appear or not? I said, no, they won't. Is this for a YouTube blog? And well, anyway, they haven't given me any trouble. Given all this, doesn't Galician broth taste greasy? This is going to make a little cushion for what's coming next. It's absolutely delicious. It has very few grelos. You know that grelos are the tender green shoots of the turnip? Careful, it's honestly really good, I'm telling you, okay? It annoys me to say this, but I have to when it's true. One of the best I've tried. You know, the place is really decorated with a Galician vibe. There are references everywhere, but I do miss the typical clay bowl, you know? I think it's the first time I've had it in a kind of porcelain bowl like this. Anyway, things are off to a great start. And I'm going to pass you a little. The bread, like I said, isn't the kind of bread I would have liked to find, but let's see how it is. Well, it is what it is. Anyway, let's continue. This is a must-have in any Galician restaurant where you're going to eat the incredible and delicious Galician empanada. Hey, the dough's really thin. It's filled with samburinhas. They offered tuna, or as I chose, sambrinas. This dish, which seems to be so delicious, has its origin in the empanada the pilgrims brought to the Santiago Championship. To make the journey precisely, that is, with empanada and wine, the journey goes well and it's nice and stuffed. Hey, I thought they told me this was a half portion. Now, if this is a half portion, what kind of plate do they use for a full portion? It's plentiful, but thin, as I said. You can't. Second highlight of the meal. It's extremely good, although it's extremely hard to eat it without all the filling coming out. And it's got plenty of onion, pepper, the zamborinhas. It has all the flavor of a Galician empanada in every sense. I'd believe it if someone said I was in Galicia right now. I actually think all the furniture, even the terrazzo floor, is the same as when they first opened. Wow, things were built to last back then, and they sure have. Look, the little edge is really thin and also totally edible. This is great. The sofrito has a real seafood taste. This is homemade, right? Look, I checked the bottom to see if it's baked well. It is, right? But just to see it, wow, look. Check out how the bottom part is nice and toasted. It's at a master level, huh? At a master level. I always ask whether this dish is good for sharing or not. Even though it's cut up for sharing, it still won't feel like enough because it's so good. The empanada top is brushed with egg. I'm seeing some pieces of the gonads that are very orange, which is usually a sign that they're scallops instead of zamborinhas. I'm not getting into that debate, but if you say they're zamborinhas, they should be. Still, very tasty. So 2 out of 2? I feel like I'm in Galicia without even leaving home, here in Madrid. Another must-have in Galician restaurants, Galician-style octopus. Well, it's not exactly pulpo a feira, right? Because the potato is in the center. And still, the octopus debate is always inevitable. Let's see, fork or toothpick? Well, look, toothpick and fork at the same time because they've given me this one here, which is wooden, although maybe it's for what's coming next. I don't know what I'm doing. Should I poke it with this? Okay, I'll use the wooden fork here. It's really good. What do you want me to say? Look, I prefer the metal fork, honestly. The wooden one is kind of a bit rough. I'm not totally convinced by it. The octopus is delicious. The Galician potato is really tasty and excellently cooked. I'll tell you more soon. The potato and octopus together are really good. The octopus is really tasty, not chewy at all. Very flavorful, very flavorful. This is a real delicacy, you know? It's tender, right? It's not a chewy octopus you notice when biting into it. The experts say that when it comes to eating octopus, the toothpick is used for several reasons. It comes from pulpo a feira. They serve it to you on a wooden plate and, well, they give it to you with toothpicks. At fairs where it's served, they usually don't have dishwashers or ways to wash dishes. It's sort of like a disposable fork. Then there are those who say that since the fork has 4 prongs, you stab it 4 times and it's worse for the octopus. Especially with metal, since a toothpick is just a single metal point. Being wood, it seems to preserve more juice. Some of us pick it up like this without stabbing it, so the juice stays in, right? Although I do stab some of them and others I pick up from underneath. Anyway, these are the kinds of things that seem like a dogma when it comes to eating. And well, I have a dogma that's unique and works for everyone. Each person should enjoy it however they want. That's my dogma. Octopus is usually served with plenty of coarse salt, but this one isn't, and it's still very flavorful. And then, about the paprika, this is sweet paprika. It's not bittersweet and it's not spicy either. I prefer the spicy one, but that's just my taste. In Galicia, they usually use the bittersweet kind. I also know that there are a lot of people who, well, in restaurants, try to appeal to everyone by serving dishes that aren't too sharp, so to speak. So dishes that aren't too spicy or overly sweet desserts, which many find overwhelming. Dishes are now usually served without fat. Well, a little bit. Is focusing on self-care and food in today's world healthier or less healthy? Although, from my point of view, all food is healthy. What isn't healthy is an unhealthy lifestyle. Or, in the case of food, as we're saying, the amounts of food you're going to eat. Of course, if you eat a ton of greasy dishes with a lot of sugar every day, well, that's bad. I think you should eat a bit of everything. Fat and sugar aren't bad in moderation. Occasionally. But hey, I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that. It's just my opinion. This is the perfect portion to share. My family has always done it this way. When we go to restaurants and there's octopus, octopus to share, like in the center of the table. And I've been limiting myself to 1 piece of bread at meals, but this one's really small. I never know the price of the meals, the total, not until the end. I mean, I don't know if they've charged for table service, or if they charge per piece of bread, or if they charge for the bread. But I'd prefer they just charge me for the bread if it's Galician sourdough, a rustic loaf, just as you'd expect in a place like this. Wow. Another thing I love to highlight in the videos is the work of the dining room staff, the people who serve at the tables. And so far, impeccable, very professional, very old school, as I always say. And they also deserve, of course, recognition, because when it comes to food, we usually give recognition to the kitchen, but I want to give my recognition here to the restaurant staff. Well, I just had to order this. I really wanted it. The Elvers come here, sizzling with garlic just like they should. Nice and hot, and they're made with oil and garlic. By the way, I realized later that the fork was for this. They brought me another one for the Elvers, so it seems Elvers are also eaten with a wooden fork. Since I haven't eaten them often, especially not with a fork, I can't say much. These are Elvers from the Minho River. Have you seen how much they cost? Well, look, honestly, they're really good. Honestly, very good. But you know that the price of things isn't determined by how they taste. In this case, it's determined by how difficult they are to catch. It's just a dish, and honestly, that's a bit showy. I ordered it just for fun. I don't regret it at all, but honestly, for the price or any dish from Calta, it's really good. It's also the baby eel. It's very tiny, and from here, you could get many kilos of eel. In the past, they were easier to catch because there was a lot of abundance, which I don't think was a piece of cake either, but now, well, it's quite complicated. I'm telling you, it tastes really good. More about the mild fish flavor and texture than a strong taste. The eel is a blue fish, but well, at this stage, you know, when they're this small, they barely have any fat. You eat them like this with a bit of garlic, a little kick. They use sunflower oil, so olive oil wouldn't overpower the eel's flavor. This dish costs enough to cover the entire meal twice. But despite everything, I think you only live once. Sometimes you have to treat yourself, and I treat myself a few times. We're just passing through here. If something makes you happy, even if it's hard, you can have it, get it. In this case, try it. Well, I recommend that you don't hesitate. Every day is a gift from life, like winning the lottery. And well, I insist we're here to enjoy ourselves, and I do. I really do. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. I'll continue. Is there more food? Of course, we also had to order a plate of hake. They say Burela hake is one of the best hakes in the world, and in this case, it's prepared Galician style. The hake is boiled, and then this saute with garlic and paprika is added, along with these potatoes. A generous, abundant portion. Man, the doneness is just right. The doneness is just right. Many times I've come across hake that's overcooked, and it's just not the same. It's not the same. Anyway, this hake looks delicious. What a great appearance it has. How good it is, I'll tell you right from the start. This is one of the best hakes I've ever eaten in my life, by far. What a hake. What a hake. The thing is, it has a slightly thicker sauce here, Galician style. I guess that's how it goes. They fry the garlic and pour paprika oil on top, but here it's served with a thicker sauce. I mentioned it's Galician style in the presentation, but I'd say it's actually more Biscayan style. With this sauce that has sauteed onion, also paprika and garlic. The potato is delicious. Yes, it's Vizcaya style. I'm sure you'll comment, but it's Vizcaya style. I didn't notice it until I tasted the sauce. I ordered it Galician style, and they asked if I wanted it in a clay pot or with sauce. And I said yes, yes, and well, in the end it's not Galician style, but it's really good. Still, what a delight. So far the menu is pretty low in calories, but still quite filling. I'm already feeling a bit full. The hake is so delicious, they've cooked it perfectly. It's very, very, very tasty. I love it, you know? Wow, the portions are generous, but what truly stands out is the quality, right? The clientele here is a bit older than me. And even though it's in a very touristy area, you don't really see a lot of foreign customers, you know? I say this because a lot of times places like this in the city center are automatically labeled as tourist traps, but I don't really see that here, you know? This place focuses on seafood. Can you come just for seafood? They offer lots of variety. Since I make videos with variety, I've also ordered things besides fish and seafood. The sauce is really good. Great for the bread. They gave me another and said, this one is freshly baked. We baked it and I said, let's really soak up and spread the sauce well. I'm going to stay here finishing up the sauce while the next big dish comes out. We're moving from one signature dish to the next. I don't even have to say what this is. You can see it, right? Well, it's lacon with turnip greens, potatoes and chorizo, a Galician dish through and through. And the portion size, very Galician, you know, really generous. Wow, they've really gone overboard. Let me just say, look at this huge chunk of lacon. I don't know if I can finish all of it, you know? Because wow. This is amazing, but let me tell you, it's really filling. A huge slice of lacon. Every day I read comments, and today I'm telling you as well, I'm going to read your comments on the video and give a big like to everyone who keeps watching. The lyrics of this song from a show in the 80s with Elena Santonia were sung by Joaquin Sabina in a song made with the group Bainica Doble. Lacon with turnip greens, cod al pil pil. The lyrics repeat, lacon with turnip greens, cod al pil pil. How good the chorizo is. How good it's at a parliamentary level, huh? You know, the biggest chorizos. Let's see how the turnip greens are. Okay, I got a bit of everything because it's a cake. I guess this is for eating a little from here, a little from there. The lacon, well, the shoulder properly cooked has a lot of protein. First it's salted, then it's boiled. In some cases it's also smoked. Galician chorizo is so delicious. The potatoes are probably the same as before. Really good. They're smaller and have some paprika. So tasty, right? This is the real taste of Galician stews. It's like being there, really. It's amazing, isn't it? It's so well made. I'm not sure if I prefer pork shoulder or chorizo, since I really love chorizo. It's flavorful, like hours at the gym, with a hint of a good nap. Spicy, high-calorie foods suit Galicia's cold, humid climate for working in the fields. Quite a complete menu for today, don't you think? Look at that color, huh? It almost looks like a piece of steak. A little rare, right? I'll do what mothers did in the old days, or what they told you, right? Focus on the meat first, save the vegetables for later. Phrases that sound like they're from a long time ago, but as you can see, I still remember them very well. Although, needless to say, my mother never said these phrases to me. There was no reason for it. She didn't have to insist for me to eat, really. I'm getting to an age where I have to take care of myself a bit. So even though I've tasted the fat and it's delicious, I won't be able to finish it. By doctor's orders. Jokes aside, I'm already a bit full and don't want to overdo it. The potatoes are delicious. Despite everything, I behaved well and finished almost everything. I'll ask them to save the turnip greens with some fat so I can make a snack sandwich later. And I think that, as I said, I've earned my desserts. This is also essential in Galician cuisine. The filoas came with cream and custard. I ordered both. What a beautiful presentation. And, well, I had to order the Tarta de Santiago too, because it's something from Santiago, as the name says. A cake that evokes the end of the Camino de Santiago, and, well, its cathedral there in Santiago de Compostela. Everyone who completes the Camino de Santiago experiences this. I've done it several times and have had it often myself. Anyway, I'm going for the hot stuff. For these filoas, wow, they're so caramelized on top. I'll start with this one, which I think, yes it is, the cream one. Well, it's a batter. It's similar to crepes, but not exactly the same. It's thinner, so it can be rolled up with the cream filling. They do make the Santiago cake here, right? But I had to order it, you know? It's just something I love. And then we could debate whether homemade or high quality matters more. There are many desserts that aren't homemade, in the sense that they weren't made in the restaurant, that are actually better than if they had been made in the restaurant itself. Desserts aren't usually called fifth range, even though they are. They're just made elsewhere and bought ready-made. But, fifth range doesn't always mean bad quality. It just means it wasn't made there. The fejos are really tasty, huh? They're delicious with that caramel flavor. I love them. I like both cream and custard, but usually prefer custard. For cream, I prefer it freshly whipped. This one seems to be from a can. Anyway, what a delicious trip to Galicia. Oh, almond flour, eggs, sugar. You bake it. This can't be bad. It's delicious. It has a high proportion of almonds. The good Santiago cakes are expensive because they use a lot of almonds, and almonds aren't exactly cheap. They put some blueberries here as a garnish and a bit of blueberry jam. So tasty. This is coming to an end. The trip to Galicia without leaving Madrid. I love going to traditional places and experiencing their traditional cuisine without leaving, as I said, my city. Well, yeah, this is traditional Spanish food, and that's what I like to represent and defend the most. Well, yes, I proclaim it and stand up for it everywhere I go, because, being in Spain, what else am I going to talk about? This is something to be proud of, right? As you can see, not even crumbs are left. The cake was delicious. Do you recall what it's called? No? It goes by many names. Uchube, Fisales, or for me today, the last bite. Anyway, thank you so much for making it this far, for joining me on this adventure. Remember, if you liked the video, don't forget to give it a big super like. Subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Or turn on all bell notifications to stay updated on new videos from the channel. And that's all for today. See you at the next restaurant. Goodbye.